Today we're going to look at The Fix by David Baldacci. It's the third book in the Memory Man series. Full disclaimer, I like the book. It's a good book. It's got a good plot. I like the characters. This book felt like The Affair by Lee Child. I just finished Lee Child's The Affair, which is a Jack Reacher book. In that, the book starts out with Jack Reacher going to the Pentagon and trying to figure out what he's there for and what's going on. The Fix starts out with Amos Decker, and he's going to the J. Edgar Hoover building, which is the FBI building. Obviously, those two buildings are used everywhere, and, you know, there's nothing similar about the CIA and the FBI and that kind of thing. However, it kind of points just to a different problem if you are reading the same genre, or if you're writing in the same genre, and that is the problem with originality. 99% of any stories out there are the same as other stories. There's maybe 1% of stories that are completely original where you say, I've never seen anything like this before or heard anything like this before, and chances are, if that's the case, you just haven't read enough or you haven't watched enough. There's probably something out there that someone else could point to and say, oh no, that's like this. When reading these thriller books or when writing these thriller books, this is the third book. Amos Decker, he has synesthesia, he has an eidetic memory. He had a brain injury that, you know, kind of made him into a super cognitive human being. And so he's a very compelling character. He's an interesting character, kind of a savant sort of investigator. And then he's paired with Alice Jamison, who is this reporter. And I've seen people have talked about this series and talked about her basically saying she has nothing to do. Why would she be part of this FBI team? She's just an investigatory.
Name for yourself as an investigatory journalist, no matter how many...
She's a journalist who's brilliant, but they say she's underutilized and that her character really has no bearing on the story. I would say that she's absolutely necessary. Maybe she's not conveyed that way perfectly, but she humanizes Decker. He wouldn't be able to function or work on a team without her. And so those two, to me, work so well together. And the whole point of this is that as far as the story, the plot goes, it's a good plot. It's a interesting plot. It starts out where you've got a man walking to the J. Edgar Hoover building. A woman walks by him and he shoots her and then shoots himself. And it's this inexplicable, why would he do that? He's part of defense contracting. He doesn't have any reason to kill her. And so Amos Decker witnesses the killing and then his team is put on the case. And so obviously, you know, there's something more than just a man killed the woman and then killed himself. There's got to be something deeper. And so as the team goes into it, they start to unravel conspiracy and then unravel a plot that's much bigger than that. But if you read enough thrillers, you've probably seen this a dozen times, 100 times, to which you'd have to then say, okay, so why read another one? And it's got to be because of the characters. And there's obviously people who don't think the characters are compelling enough, but I really do. And the reason I can say that is because I literally laughed out loud at a scene in this book or a line in the dialogue from this book. I rarely laugh out loud about anything in any book, and let alone this is a thriller. It's not a comedy. It's not supposed to be funny, but it was a funny line. It was supposed to be this silly, lighthearted moment, and I laughed because I knew the characters really well. So I would say it is a very competent thriller. It has a good plot. It's got foreshadowing. You see some character development, and it's a decent, elaborate plot that has some very high stakes. So I would recommend Memory Man series. I actually think the first book is maybe... The first book, I think, was my least favorite of the three I've read so far. So check out the Memory Man series. Just read anything, read everything. My name is Mark Taylor. Keep reading, and know that you're more valuable than you could possibly imagine.